Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to paint a watercolor silhouette. Let's look at the materials you will need. You'll need a pencil, an eraser, paintbrushes of different sizes, one medium, one large, and one small tip, watercolor paints, black ink, and watercolor paper. I recommend watercolor paper to be about 140 pounds so it doesn't warp. Begin drawing your silhouette. Avoid pressing hard on the paper in order not to damage it. Try to keep your pencil drawing light. Remember that it is a silhouette that we are drawing. Therefore, anything that is solid will not have any details on the inside of the silhouette. You will only be able to see the outline unless there is a window or some kind of opening that will allow light through. My focus will be on the VW van. I want the setting to be a beach scene, so I'll add some surfboards, palm trees, and a sailboat in the background. Add some points of interest to make your artwork engaging. The great thing about silhouettes is you could draw just about anything. Once you finish drawing your silhouettes, you erase your pencil line. This is the part everyone seems to get upset about, but don't worry, you'll still be able to see your pencil lines on your paper. It is not truly necessary to do this step, but I have found in the past that sometimes you can see the pencil lines underneath the ink. If you prefer not to erase the lines, skip this step. When I do erase the lines, I do very light erasing to still be able to see the lines slightly. Before I begin watercoloring, I like to plan ahead. I will take a scrap watercolor paper and make paint samples of my colors. I also like to mix any colors I need for my watercolor painting and put it on my scrap paper to make sure I have the correct pigment I am looking for. Planning ahead makes the process go smoothly. Now that my sample colors are done, it's time to watercolor. My paper is ready to go, my outlines are light, and now I'm ready to begin painting. I'm going to do a wet-on-wet painting with the watercolor, and I'm going to begin with my horizon. I have chosen to make my horizon go from purple to yellow with a gradual blending of colors. I want my paper to be wet so that the colors will flow into each other, creating a more natural blending. Try to avoid making stripes when adding colors next to each other. I will only be wetting where I will be painting, which is my horizon. You will notice I did not wet below my horizon because I do not want my colors to bleed into the next area. Once my paper is nice and wet, I'll start applying the purple to the top, making it a little bit darker in the corners. Then I will add my pinks. I will try to bring some of my pinks into my purple and some of my purples into my pink, causing a very casual blending and avoiding stripes. This helps in the blending process. I'll now add red, orange, and then yellow. I'll bring some of the colors into each other, but be careful not to overwork it because your paper can get damaged and your colors can get muddy. I'm now going to take a paper towel and blot out the area I want my setting sun to go. Once that area is dry, I can now begin painting my sun. I'm going to add some yellow to it. Please remember, there is no right or wrong for what you want your color background to be. It's really up to you, and you must decide what effect you're trying to achieve. Once you have achieved the desired look you want, allow the paper to dry before beginning the next step. The next step is to draw the water. I once again will use the wet-on-wet method here. I'll begin at the horizon line and I'll apply a darker blue and I'll gradually lighten it as I get closer to the bottom. As you can see, I'm also applying different hues of blues as I move along. Don't worry about drawing over your silhouette. The watercolor won't affect the silhouette at all. I am now blotting out some of my water in order to give it a reflection from the sun. If your paper becomes too saturated with water, you can soak up some of the water with a paper towel. Give your painting some final touches and then allow it to dry. The paper is completely dry and now I'll begin inking. I like to use small tip paint brushes to begin the outline. Where you begin is really up to you. I usually like to begin near the top and work my way down. But once again, there is no rules to where you begin. After you've completed the outline, begin filling the solid area with ink. Along the way, you may want to add additional features that make your painting more interesting or add to the aesthetic of your painting. You could create so many different interesting watercolor ink drawings. It really is up to you. I also teach this lesson to my students. It can be taught at all levels. I expect my older advanced students to do a more complex painting, whereas my younger or beginning students, I could teach them to keep it simpler. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson on watercolor and ink painting. If you like this video and want to see more contents like this from my channel, please like and subscribe down below.